Good evening, everyone, and welcome to BioVanguard Cell Talk presentation round one. For today's presentation, Ananya Khan is our presenter, and she will be discussing on the topic assessing the utility of epigenetic clocks for health production in South Korea. Before we dive into the presentation, let me introduce Ananya Khan. Ananya Khan specializes in population research, focusing on aging, the socio-economic challenges of marginalized communities, and gender dynamics. She holds a master's in population studies from the International Institute for Population Sciences, Mumbai, and a master's in geography from Vishwabharati University, Santiniketan. Her academic background has equipped her with expertise in demography, statistical analysis, GIS, and research methodology, making her a valuable contributor to interdisciplinary research initiatives. Ananya is also actively involved in projects addressing socioeconomic disparities and health challenges, particularly among the aging population. Now, I warmly welcome Ananya to give her presentation.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Ananya Khan, and I'll be presenting on the research work titled Assessing the Utility of Epigenetic Clocks for Health Prediction in South Korean Population. So let's start with the introduction of what an epigenetic clock is, and further we'll get into how it is related to aging. So to define epigenetic clock, it is a predictive tool to develop to estimate an individual's chronological age or biological age, where chronological age refers to the amount of time that has passed since a person's birth and is usually expressed in years, months, and days. And biological clock measures aging that occurs as you gradually accumulate damage to various cells and tissues in the body. So biological aging and is often compared with chronological aging, and basically a person's biological age can be greater than their chronological age. In such case, it is termed as epigenetic age acceleration. And epigenetic age acceleration is often linked to higher risks of chronic diseases, mortality, and adverse health outcomes, and their indications, and thereby it indicates faster aging. On the contrary, when biological aging is lower than the chronological age, it is termed as epigenetic age deceleration. It indicates slower aging, which is associated with better health outcomes and a lower risk of age-related diseases. Now, how epigenetic clock tests work. Now, if we try to express epigenetic clock test in a scientific language, it is a biological age assessment tool that uses DNA methylation patterns at specific CPG sites and this test measures methylation levels in a person's blood or other tissues, which ultimately represents person's biological age in years. So further on, what it can be used what are the uses of epigenetic clock? So it can be used to evaluate lifestyle interventions, for example, the effectiveness of diet and other lifestyle changes on biological aging. And it can be used to predict diseases like chronic kidney disease and its impact on aging. It is also used to predict mortality, that is, we predict mortality in the second generation epigenetic clocks. Epigenetic clocks are further classified into two groups, one that measures chronological age and the other that measures biological age, and they are termed as first generation clocks and second generation clocks. First generation clocks focus on predicting age accurately and have limited use beyond chronological age estimation, while second generation clocks emphasize on biological aging. The second generation clocks emphasize on biological relevance, where it links age with health outcomes, and it integrates health biomarkers and clinical data to make it better suited to predict mortality, chronic diseases, and functional decline. So So many studies have been done before we have uh, come to this study. So here the epigenetic clock was first introduced by Horvath in 2013, and after that various epigenetic clocks were derived was various epigenetic clocks were introduced. One was one epigenetic clock that was developed by Hanan, which it was based on blood-based epigenetic blood-based DNA methylation, which which developed blood-based DNA methylation, and it was a first generation epigenetic clock. So the primary objective of this study was to evaluate the effectiveness of epigenetic clocks in predicting health outcomes and assessing biological aging in an East Asian population. Specifically, the study aimed to analyze the performance of 5 first-generation clocks and 4 second-generation clocks. And secondly, it investigates the relationship between epigenetic age acceleration and various health metrics such as chronic diseases, blood biomarkers, and lung function. Uh, Next up, it explores how lifestyle behaviors and, for example, smoking and exercise and socioeconomic status like income and education influence epigenetic age acceleration. And lastly, to confirm the utility of these epigenetic clocks, and health and predicting for predicting health outcomes, the author used another South Korean cohort called Hexa. So by addressing these goals, the study aimed to establish the relevance of epigenetic clocks for health predictions in South Korean populations and to determine their potential as tools for early disease intervention and promoting healthy aging. Uh, this is a study. This study is a cross-sectional and longitudinal analysis using DNA methylation data to evaluate epigenetic age acceleration. The study population consists of primary cohort, that is the Korean genome and epidemiology study. And for its validation, the author used another cohort from the health examinees study, which included 822 participants. The primary cohort included 1,925 participants, and the indicators were classified into 3 broad categories that were namely demographics, lifestyle, and health. For data analysis, regression models were used to evaluate the association of epigenetic age acceleration with health outcomes, environment, and lifestyle factors. Kaplan-Meier survival analysis was used to assess the relationship between epigenetic age acceleration and time to disease onset. Cox proportional hazard was used to evaluate the risk of chronic diseases, and correlation matrices were used to visualize relationship between epigenetic age acceleration and health outcomes, and forest plots were used to display odd ratios, hazard ratios, and beta coefficients. So and the entire analysis was repeated for the Hexa cohort as well. uh, Here the correlation matrix shows the relationship between epigenetic age acceleration derived from different epigenetic clocks. Clocks within the same generation exhibit strong positive correlations. For example, PC Horvath clock that measures changes in DNA sequences, and PC Hanan clock that measures blood-based DNA methylation shows strong positive correlations. Another clock, that is ICAS DNA image, which is specifically developed for East Asian populations, using CPG sites for relevant ancestry group, exhibits low or no correlation with most other clocks. The second generation clocks show associations with health outcomes, environmental factors, and disease risks. It outperformed the first generation clocks in predicting health outcomes, such as type 2 diabetes, hypertension, and biomarkers. So, epigenetic age acceleration from second generation clocks were significantly associated with increased risk of chronic diseases, elevated risk of adverse biomarkers, and reduced lung function. And higher epigenetic age acceleration from second generation clocks predicted an earlier onset of type 2 diabetes and hypertension. Epigenetic age acceleration from second generation clocks was influenced by smoking. So epigenetic age acceleration for second generation clocks was influenced by smoking, drinking, body mass index, high waist hip ratio, and poor psychosocial status, which increased the acceleration of aging. And the epigenetic age deceleration was influenced by regular exercise, higher income, and higher education levels. First generation clocks were minimally affected by these factors except smoking. Uh, the second generation clocks showed strong associations. So the one some of the say first generation clocks, that is PC Grimmage, which measures lifespan and all cause mortality risk, and Zhang Y, which predicts all cause mortality risk using CPGS, so it shows strong associations with triglyceride levels and reduced lung function. Another clock, that is Dundine Pace, which measures which measures physiological decline and pace of aging, is linked to faster aging, higher risks of type 2 diabetes and hypertension, and elevated inflammatory markers. Another clock, that is PC PhenoAge, which tracks organismal aging, is associated with hypertension and liver enzyme levels. To sum it up, all these clocks were developed outside of East Asian population, and they exhibit strong correlation with chronological aging and associations with lifestyle factors. The findings of the study suggests that epigenetic clock developed for different ancestries can be valuable for East Asian ancestry. The second generation clocks showed higher accuracy in predicting health outcomes, and it shows strong associations with chronic diseases, biomarkers, and environmental factors. And despite being developed outside East Asia, these clocks showed predictive utility, and clocks that are trained on East Asian datasets like ICAS DNA image would further improve accuracy. Epigenetic clocks, which integrate multiple aging mechanisms, include environmental and genetic factors. Second generation clocks incorporate diverse health metrics, for example, mortality risk and pace of aging. Next, if we go on to the clinical applications, we can see that second generation clocks can guide early interventions for disease prevention and healthy aging, and it has potential to inform personalized health strategies. Some of the modifiable factors are lifestyle changes. For example, smoking and regular exercise shows that it can decelerate epigenetic aging. And socioeconomic improvements, for example, in income and education, shows that they are linked with slower biological aging. The study concludes that epigenetic clocks are valuable tools for understanding and mitigating aging and health related risks.
Thank you, Ananya, for the presentation. Everyone, now the panel is open for the questions. If you have any queries, you can just mention your questions in the chat box. And we have already a question from Vijay Padul. How many participants were assessed in each generation clocks?
In the paper, it is only mentioned about the primary cohort that we have and the secondary cohort, which included in the primary cohort, we had 1,925 participants, and in the secondary cohort, we had 822 participants.
Okay, thank you. And I don't see any further questions. So thank you, Ananya, for your nice presentation. And thank you, everyone, for your kind patience.